Greetings and salutations, my friend, and welcome to another video. Today, we're talking about women's football, and hence the armoured suit here. I can't move. It's a bit of a problem. I don't have the technology to make it move. It's Photoshop. Okay, that's the illusion. It's not real. I know. Bonkers, right? I'm going to take it off now so I can move my head. I feel like I've had a stroke and I can't move. So, let's get rid of it and talk about women's football. Nothing can go wrong. Okay, I think we can keep the armour. Right. So, today was announced officially. We already knew it existed, obviously. Women's football. I have questions, and I also want to have a rant, obviously, because this is going to be the spicy one. Because I don't really know. But we'll get to that. So let's just look at the video and talk about it first. I'll get rid of this thing. No! Spoil the illusion. I'm fine. Don't worry. Okay. Right. Technical issues fixed. Okay. Let's go.
It's been a long time coming. The support, the passion, the rise and rise of the sport. And now it is finally...
Want to see some more gameplay, if possible?
This year, women's football has been introduced for the very first time in series history, changing the game forever. A new dimension, fully integrated and ready for you to discover however you want to play. With 14 leagues, across 11 nations and 3 continents, including some of the biggest licenses in the women's game.
Nice.
And it's all powered by the largest women's football database in games.
Okay.
It's still the Football Manager you know, built on depth, authenticity and realism. But now the women's game sits within that same universe. One world, one ecosystem, one database. Your story begins here in a new dimension of the beautiful game. Select men's football, women's football or both, all existing together in one.
Remember that for future rant.
One connected world, seamlessly integrated into the game you know and love, but with its own identity, shaped by how women truly play the sport at the highest level. That means a different transfer market, shorter deals, fewer release clauses, a system modelled on the realities of the women's game.
Nice.
That's reflected with injuries too, based on real-world player data. A 20 is still a 20. For example, a striker in the women's game with a 20 for finishing is rated on the same scale as a men's striker, just measured within their own competitive
okay, that's the best way to do it, yeah.
But accuracy takes more than just data. Dedicated motion capture sessions with real footballers to understand the characteristics of how women move on the pitch, from pressing to passing, from shooting to celebrating. The results? More accurate movement, more realistic moments, a game that feels authentic on and off the pitch. This has been years in the making, built from the ground up, a promise made in 2021, delivered in FM26. And this is just the start. The database will expand, the experience will deepen, the game will keep evolving. In FM26, women's football is yours to define. Step into the dugout, it's time to change the game.
Okay, that was as good as I could have hoped. Right, do I do the rant now? The people that are going to rant are probably not going to watch the... I'll do the rant now just for the sexist people amongst you. I'm going to upset a few people today, just suck it up. Right, okay. Every time since 2021 and before that the idea of Football Manager featuring women... It's okay, just take a breath. Right, obviously 99% of you are reasonable human beings. I'm talking to the 1%ers. As soon as it's been mentioned on social media or video or whatever, there's like comments saying, "Oh, it's a waste of time. Nobody's gonna play that." Blah 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 blah. You've all heard the arguments. You've all heard the shit. You might believe some of it, right? Okay, it's gonna blow your mind, right? Not everything in a game is for you. Okay, it is completely fine to not give a damn about women's football. It is you go you, right? Okay, I'm not a massive fan. I like watching like the Euros and the World Cup and the sort of some of the England games. I don't watch day-to-day league. I don't love football enough to watch all the men's stuff and then watch. I just don't have the time, right? But I'm fine with it existing, even if I do actually have an intention to play it. But I'm fine with it existing. When they revamped the training stuff, I can't remember which FM was that. A few FMs ago, they like, oh, we've done all the training and stuff. My brain was like, oh, that's really cool for the people that like the training stuff. I couldn't care less. I didn't then rant about the fact that the training stuff exists because I don't use it. Even though it takes a bit of time to develop and all that sort of stuff, I don't care about it. But I know other people care about it. So just let it go. If they decided to introduce a random new league, the League of Isle of Wight, idea, you have that, and the new database and all that sort of stuff, nobody's going to complain and say, well, I'm not going to manage in the Isle of Wight, so why is it in the game? You see what I'm getting at here? It doesn't have to be for you, and that's okay. You can just move on and play the things you like. As for the actual video, it's nice to see some more gameplay. I really like, obviously this is nice. Integrated. So when you start your save, you can choose not to be bothered by women's football if it is of no interest to you. And you'll never have to worry about it. You don't have to stress about it. You know, you won't see any boobies and you'll be fine. Okay? Just move on. But I like the fact that, because I'd love to do it maybe a journeyman save where I'm starting in the lower leagues and then maybe I get promoted a couple of times and then I get a job at like a decent women's club and I'm like, oh, I'm at Liverpool or whatever, who are kind of crap at the moment. And maybe then jump back into men's. Like, that would be brilliant. But I can also understand if you personally just don't want anything to do with that and you just want to manage men's football or you just want to do manage women's football career. All of those things are available to do. And so it should suit everyone. Obviously, you know, still complain and stuff. And I know the fact of the matter is, as they've shown in this video, they've obviously put a lot of time and effort into creating women's football. But that is not why. Okay, this is going to be the I feel like the stick that people try and beat Sports Interactive with and have been for the last year. That is not the reason why FM25 was delayed. Okay? Because yes, it's a chunk of work, as you saw. We've got, you know, some extra 3D modeling, and obviously the database itself has to be created, and they have to change the graphic and make it all work and it feel a bit different and stuff. But there's loads of stuff that you don't use in the game that probably took a lot of work behind, and you're not complaining about that. If the only thing you're complaining about you don't want to use is women's football, look in the mirror, all right? I totally get. And this is I'm not attacking people that just have no interest in it. That's fine. I'm just saying to the people that are constantly complaining about it and letting the world know that nobody's going to do it, or nobody's going to use the feature. But let's move on to the positive vibes here. I really love, because I was wondering, because, you know, getting into date, I might need to put the flak jacket back on for this. Getting into sort of dangerous territory here is, okay, the quickest male footballer, I'm just taking this as an example, it might not be true. The current quickest male footballer in the world is going to be a 20, if the scouting's been done right, on pace. And the quickest female footballer in the world, I was like, I wonder if they're going to do it like, because they're not going to be as quick as the guys. So do you have a cap? But then there are some women that have 20 flair, like literally amazing football, but maybe physically they're not quite. So I like the fact they've essentially kept the 1-20 system that we all know, so we all feel it when we're doing, but it's not exactly equivalent of. And I like the fact they haven't specified exactly how the maths works on each of, like, is 20 flair on a women's player, 20 flair on a men's player exactly the same? Probably, because like I said, there's some incredibly skillful women players, but some of the physical attributes and stuff, but they wouldn't want to announce the differences because then people are going to complain from either way and stuff like that. But I like the fact they've just basically said, hey, we've scaled this up, so this is 1-20 as before, but it's a women's football 1-20, which is perfect. I like, my other worry with women's football was that it was just going to feel like men's football with more lumps, and it's not. It's a different game. So the fact they've seems to have put a lot of work in, especially with the sort of 3D modeling and the mocap stuff. I think is really good. Little drop. I hope that was in slow motion. And there's not any like random extra stuff. It's just the same stuff, which is I think it's the best way to do it. I feel it would have been weird if, like, let's say, for example, the pace, I'm using an example, is maxed out at 18 for women. That would just feel weird. Like, you'd still want the fastest woman to be a 20, because that's how our brains have learnt for the last 30 years, you know? Overall, I'm very pleased. Obviously, this will get a reaction. And I beg you. If I can make you do anything... I'm talking to the people that have no interest. They're probably not watching this video. This is why I'm pissed them off enough. But if you have no interest in playing this game, cool. I have this mode, rather. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Nobody should ever have a problem with that. But you don't have to then let everyone know that you don't want to play that mode. Because, okay, are you going to let everyone know all the countries that you're not going to manage in? You know what I mean? Or are you going to let everyone know that you're not doing your training or your scouting or whatever? You don't need to let everyone know, and you then also don't need to let everyone know that nobody's going to play this mode, because factually you are incorrect and wrong, and you don't know. Like, even women's football is expanding very quickly and has been for a number of years now. I don't know why little boys, and are going to be so angry about their game they love being more welcoming to more people. What? I love this game. I would love everybody to play it. It'd be great. More people playing this game would be fantastic. So if introducing women's football, so all these young girls growing up who have all these heroes of women's football can then manage them in the game. I know, it's mad. I feel like saying it out loud, it's kind of, common sense. But the world is completely lacking in common sense at the moment, so I guess that makes sense. But at the end of the day, I think they're doing it the right way. I like the fact that it's... I did find it... Because I don't play FIFA or EA FC, whatever, anymore, but, like... It did feel weird having Ultimate Team and it's just men and women and stuff, but I never really sort of played that mode. I like the fact they've not done something weird to be extra inclusive, like we just melded the two databases and everybody can play for everybody and it's all the same. Like, they went, no, there is differences in the men's and the women's game, so we're going to make it feel different. And we haven't seen enough gameplay to truly know that, if it actually does feel different. That's the only thing I'd say. I'd want to see. You're going to need to play 10, 15 games and stuff like that. Just think of it as an extra mode that you don't have to play if you don't want to. But for those that are interested, and it might bring a few more people into the hobby, right? Which is great. How can that not be great? People are weird. Right, sorry, this has gone incredibly ranty. I should probably start, scripting my videos, but that's just never going to happen. All jokes aside, this is great for the people that are interested. Hopefully this will get more. If I'm like a 13-year-old girl, only on weekends, and I go and I have heroes and I watch Liverpool every week and stuff, and I get to manage them, just like I did when I was a 13-year-old boy in 1912, I got to manage my heroes. That's the whole point of this game. Why would you not want people to have that, you asshole? Sorry, I'm ranting again. Sorry. How many subscribers will I lose in this video? I'll let you know in the next one, because it says. But anyway, I'm not having a go. I am. To like a 0.5%. Anyway, final thoughts. Really good. I like the fact it feels different, and hopefully on the pitch it does feel different. You've mentioned things like contracts and stuff and injuries, which is brilliant. I think that's great that they've put the effort in to make it different. So, all good. I'm very excited. I think the last video with the sort of main reveal with a bit more detail, the comments were the most positive I've ever seen on a video game. There's very few times that there's not a lot of people just ranting and shouting into the air and stuff. So hopefully it's good. We're not far away from release, so it better be. And we have kind of waited 2 years for it. So Sports Interactive, make it a good one. But so far so good, and I like it. I will be mad. I'd like to maybe when we get the early access thing I'd like to almost do a season back to back. So like a season with Liverpool men's, and then start again, and a season with the women's team. Hello. Just because then it'll be easier to spot the differences and stuff in the whole way the season goes, just for a little fun one season save. Just because I hope it does feel different. Right, I'm done. If you're hyped for women's football, leave a comment. If you're not, that's okay too. That's good. That's nothing wrong. That's the difference, you see? There's nothing wrong for not caring about this feature. You just don't have to go and shout it on Twitter and tell everybody that nobody's ever going to play it and stuff and get really ranty. Okay, that's there's the levels. Right, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.